Hi there. Specific details of George R.R. Martin's appearance at New York Comic-Con this October have been revealed. And as we suspected, he's going to appear on a panel to promote the new A Night of the Seven Kingdoms Game of Thrones spin-off TV series, which is coming early next year, 2026. Appearing on this panel, along with the two lead cast members and the showrunner. This was officially posted to Martin's blog as well as the convention website now, so they've added up the full schedule. Martin will appear on a panel to promote the new Game of Thrones spin-off, along with showrunner Ira Parker, who is experienced at this. He wrote the praised Episode 4 of Season 1, King of the Narrow Sea, on House of the Dragon. The one where Rhaenyra sneaks out into the city with Daemon, and there's all sorts of back and forth intrigue between the main characters. So everyone loved that, everyone was excited, it was a plot-heavy, dialogue-heavy episode, and that he'd be good for this, and Martin is also very impressed with his work. But on top of that, they got the two lead actors who, don't live in the United States. This is a big intercontinental flight for them. I'm happy they're coming. That we have Dunk and Egg themselves, Peter Claffey, and Dexter Saul Ansel. This is apparently when the big promo campaign for Dunk and Egg by HBO will finally start. And once they actually get going, objectively, HBO has a really slick PR team. In terms of the trailers they put out, they know how to get this stuff out there, they know how to get attention. Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco in it. They are good at this. I'm thinking of, other companies I won't name, but some of the other ones that really don't promote their stuff very well, they know how to do a PR campaign if they set their mind to it. Yes, the show is delayed. I've covered this in other videos. That was purely due to scheduling, that there's a big Europe launch for their streamer, that there are business reasons for that from the beginning, everything we have heard about this show, the HBO executives themselves love it. So we have full confidence in it. That's just a scheduling thing. It's annoying, but okay, they pushed it to the beginning of next year. And I was saying for a while, once we heard that Martin was coming to New York Comic-Con, this is the biggest con before spring, or maybe even February, whenever they're launching it. We don't have a date yet. As opposed to, they wouldn't say anything at San Diego Comic-Con in July, that this is the closer convention. I think they're probably going to have a big promo blitz with Martin, fingers crossed, cast and crew, and then we actually got the showrunner and main cast members. So this is what we were hoping for. I'm going to talk about this more in my next video, but there have been a few reshoots and things that's nothing. They're adding more. I'm fine with that. And particularly, there have been rumors circulating the past few days that someone said, I leaked out that they've already greenlit seasons 2 and 3 and runtimes. Guys, greenlight by definition means when HBO publicly says, we have renewed this. So it's kind of, a contradiction in terms for someone to say I'm leaking out that this has been greenlit. It's greenlit when it's public, that's why they call it that. But even though I'm not sure if that person knows what they're doing, it's really irrelevant for me because we already know from their public comments that functionally a green light is just a formality at this point. That, as I've covered, I know not a lot of people are covering Dunk and Egg because it hasn't been out yet. A couple of months ago, Francesca Orsi, who is the head of HBO Drama Division, that she openly said, we are actively planning to film seasons 2 and 3 back to back so that we can release them in 3 sequential years. So that is a green light to me already. I've already said that. So I'm happy that, it's spreading like a meme, that people are noticing, but it's, why didn't you notice this months ago when they already pretty much said that? Whatever. But the goal is start of every year, and I don't know if that means the winter schedule because it's a short TV show, like are they going to put it out January, February, or March, April? I don't know, but around March-ish, 3 years in a row every year. Spring 26, Spring 27, Spring 28. We are going to have the first 3 seasons. After that, obviously, they said we'll figure it out. I think this could run 6 to 7 seasons based on events in Dunk and Egg's lives, as Martin has outlined it. They might go on break for a year. I'm fine with that. They just because there are increasingly longer time skips, because this covers their entire lives. And some people worry about what if the kid outgrows it, because the child actor is aging. The Dunk and Egg novella is like he said. Well, I planned 12, and the 12th one is like when they're old men. There's time skips. I mean, the reason I say they can go 7 seasons is looking at World of Ice and Fire, the outline of what their lives were like, there would be like a 10-year, 12-year gap between the 7th and 8th seasons where nothing happens. And I think that functionally you would recast an adult Egg by then, an older Dunk, because there's this like 10-year time skip. But this show of them being the wandering hedge knight and his squire, this could run like 6 to 7 seasons in sequential years. And I've talked about this in other videos, that like the King Aegon V and his Lord Commander show would overlap with the Rain Rebellion and the Rise of Tywin. I mean, he would be a character of the court at that point. That would be like a sequel show to this. But yeah, 6 to 7 year show, I really think they can do that. Martin has firm plans for the 4th and 5th ones. He has pretty much confirmed that the 4th one would be Village Hero, where we think Egg meets his wife, future wife. And the 5th one would be the She-Wolves of Winterfell, but I've gone all over this before. Point is, actual green light is a formality at this point. They've openly said we are planning to film these back-to-back. I think they might actually announce the formal green light at this panel. Is a good point to conclude on with that, if I think that they're waiting to say it at this. But they've already said they're filming back-to-back and all that. As for the Westeros franchise panel content at New York Comic Con itself this year, the big HBO panel to launch the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms promo campaign with the cast members and Martin and the showrunner, that's the first day of the con, Thursday, October 9th. Starts at 12 noon to 1 p.m. There is a second panel focused only on George R. R. Martin himself. The showrunner, the 2 cast members, they're not listed at that. Spotlight on George R. R. Martin is the title, which will be Saturday, October 11th, from 11 a.m. to noon. Now, when we first heard Martin was making a couple of con appearances later this year, yeah, we all got, you always get excited, but I assumed from the beginning, and please back me up in the comments, I said this at the time, I assume it's, to launch Dunk and Egg stuff. And back of your mind, you do always hope for, maybe there's some Winds of Winter news. But I hate the phrase I'm at peace with it, but I honestly think we'll get it eventually, but I'm not on the edge of my seat for every little announcement. I just have this attitude of I think it will come, but it happens when it happens. I'm not going to waste effort pouncing on every little thing. And just focusing on the Dunk and Egg TV show is big news to me, and I'd like to see it, so that alone is fine. But there's going to be, there's going to be some people trolling in the comments section for this, yelling, why isn't there a panel specifically titled Winds of Winter launch announcement? Guys, they wouldn't call it that even if they're going to do that. It's a surprise, but some are still going to try to be, I'm on the edge of my seat for maybe this Saturday panel Martin is going to announce something. That could have been in any of his other public appearances, and I'd like to hope that, but more realistically, the thing I hope for is I just hope he gives a nice update on work is proceeding well again. Because in his blog post at the end of last year, he said, I was fighting with HBO, so like the first half of 2024, he said, I got nothing done. After a good 2 or 3 years where he got 2/3 of the book done, once there was COVID lockdown, he got 2/3 of it done, and he stated, I'm about 3/4 done with it actually now, by 2023, but then he had all these things that slowed him down. I just wanted to say, yeah, I'm slowly but surely, I'm not running into major problems, that I got a chapter done last week, that progress is being made and he's not having distractions again. I'll be fine with that. Remember what it was like 3 years ago when, for the first time in like 8 years, he gave specifics where he said, I'm 3/4 done. I have so many manuscript pages done. And oh yeah, I just finished the final Tyrion chapter of this book. That was mind-blowing. So, like, my highest expectation for this, which is really, even I'm downplaying this, is if he just says, oh, I'm making good progress again, and I just finished the last Daenerys chapter in this book. That'll be amazing for me. I don't need him to be just that things are going well again, and he did sound recharged from, his Britain trip, visiting Tolkien's grave, talking through all of this. He's said that in his blog before, so I just want to know he's doing okay, and that work is getting back to normal. Other than that, though, let me end this video with some more specifics on my direct involvement at New York Comic Con. That if you follow my channel, and please like and subscribe, if you follow and read my community tab posts for quick updates, you'll know this already, but for everyone new to this, I live in the New York City area, and I have gone to Comic-Con before. I didn't go last year because there wasn't really... Only at the last minute I realized that some cast members are coming, and then it was too late because it, books up early. Martin coming, I lined up to get the ticket online. The Saturday tickets sold out immediately because they were selling the 4-day tickets first. That when the a la carte picking one specific day tickets went online, by then Saturday had already been bought out. And this was a matter of hours after it went online, but I did manage to buy a Thursday ticket. So yes, I will physically be at New York Comic Con in the Javits Center on Thursday. Whether I can even get into the panel room for Dunk and Egg is doubtful. I hate it when they say conventions are meeting the fans. That I went to San Diego Comic Con once and it was enough. That I asked Q&A of Chris Claremont. I saw Stan Lee live with my own eyes, but it wasn't worth just the time to get into any panel. You can't really go to stuff, and that's why things are distancing themselves. It got too big. That Hall H within Comic-Con is like a convention within a convention. It isn't meeting the fans. It's this sub-clique of people who literally build a tent city in the main hall, Hall H, and they don't leave for 4 days straight. They bring food, they dispose of waste somehow, that they don't leave. There's no order to leave. You can just camp out for 4 days. And it's really selling a lie that, oh, come and meet people at the main city. That's not a thing. I have more fun at regional cons where you're more likely to have fan-made content, real panel discussions. Not just, gaming and stuff, which is fun, but, I want to have real discussion, the community meetups, and even Q&A with cast and crew. And I've had good experiences regionally. The bigger ones are harder. Well, I'm just really worried. What am I going to do? Camp out in the street on Wednesday? Even if I camp out on Wednesday and walk in the door when it opens Thursday, will I even be able to get into a main stage panel room by 12 noon Thursday? That the mere fact I have doubts about that. Because it's on the main Empire stage, and I checked, that room has seating for 6,000 people. And I still doubt that I will be able to physically get in. Is this a lesson that you should have the 4-day passes first? I don't know, but they were selling those before we knew Martin was coming. So, I'm trying, but I'm not trying to promise you guys anything. That what happens, happens. I'll chronicle my attempt at getting in just to see it with my own eyes. And there's no hope of getting, on the line for Q&A. I mean, just the odds are silly. And as I said in my community tab posts, trying to get around that, because I do run a YouTube channel, I did submit panels to New York Comic Con this year, fan panels, but I got waitlisted. So I'm not getting into that. And I mean, it was the most generic. I was trying to set up a Song of Ice and Fire YouTube content creator panel, meet and greet panel, just to go over the state of the franchise, because I'm optimistic about the future of the franchise, just how hyped we are for various things we're looking forward to. Nope. And it's not just random, I'm a fan. I said we'll get podcasters, we'll get other YouTube channels that are coming to New York Comic Con, devoted to this franchise. Like, you can get a panel if you're like the 501st Legion. Not that I'm knocking the 501st Legion. Those guys are great. They're bringing order to the galaxy. But the point is, I couldn't get in, and I just got eternally waitlisted. That, even so, what upsets me most in all this I'm working my way up to is, even though they made this big announcement that today's the day we posted the official New York Comic Con full schedule, if you go on their website, as of when I'm recording this at least, there are still gaps in it. Like, I got the email saying you've been waitlisted, and there's gaps in the thing. Thursday alone. And I don't mean on the big main stage rooms. It'd be insane to ask that, but just like the side rooms. I've been there before when they have side rooms that are smaller rooms talking to book authors and things, not like, hey, this is the main Marvel movie main stage cast Q&A. I get that, but even the side rooms, there's, well, specifically North Room 408. Check Thursday, North Room 408. There's TBA, nothing scheduled yet, from 3:30 to 4:30, and again from 6:30 to 7:30. And I think it's probably because there's a short list that they just haven't made their final choice on yet, that there's probably like 2 things vying for the same spot. Like, if they were trying to I'm making up an example, maybe there was, well, do we put Dark Horse or Image industry panel at 3:30? Well, I'm not sure. It depends on who shows up because of their schedule from the business. So, okay, they're probably just choosing between the 2 or 3 finalists, and I didn't make the final round. But in terms of optics, it feels like, why is there no other Westeros programming? You wouldn't even have semi-major, because other panels here are run by like podcasts and YouTube channels devoted to, Marvel Comics, DC Comics. Why isn't there? And not, oh, I'm this big important person. I had hoped to get multiple YouTubers on a regional Northeast meetup at this thing because Martin himself is coming, and to just go how much we're looking forward to Dunk and Egg. How I'm looking forward to House of the Dragon Season 3 now that the strike is over. And I'm feeling pretty enthusiastic, and we didn't get that. I mean, I'd like to be able to do green room Q&A with the cast, and I mean that in terms of purely meet and greet. Like, if I could do a 10-minute video clip with Peter and Dexter just to go, hi, YouTube audience, we hope you all look forward to Dunk and Egg. That would be fun, and, fluff, oh, it's just a meet and greet, hey, here's Dunk and Egg is really happening. I don't even know how to do that. I don't have media access. I'm just a YouTube channel. That so much of these conventions are run by the corporations, and it's like, I'm not gonna, I'm in favor of this show. I'm looking forward to it. I want to help promote it. I'm excited for it. So I don't really know how the voice of the fans really comes out at these things. Maybe, it's a 6,000 seat room for the main stage. And if I show up when the doors open, is there going to be a line at the door that you can't even get into the main stage to see Martin for the Dunk and Egg panel? Which isn't even an established show yet. Well, it's Martin himself is established, I guess. The people will come for him alone, even if they don't know what Dunk and Egg is like yet. But mixed feelings, because I'm going to try to get in, but the odds are non-existent at this point. I tried going through the fan panel route of just, not even to meet the cast members, just to have a discussion among fans. We don't have that. I didn't think cast members would come to the panel I submitted. You can't even get a side room Thursday fan panel at a bad time. Where do we go? I don't know. So, that's a me problem, though. That's a me problem. On your end, one way or another, they're gonna make official videos of this panel, as it's a promo blitz, for this is and I'm happy for it, this is the event, the date that literally on our calendars marks off the launch of the United of the Seven Kingdoms promo campaign. Which there hasn't been any before. They're probably almost assuredly going to wait to debut the first full trailer at this. we like, oh, maybe it'll come out next week. This isn't 2 months. This is in a month and a half. And I think that at this point, they're just saving it for that big venue to release it. I mean, the trailer was done months ago, but then they delayed the show. And it doesn't make sense to put out a trailer so far in advance people forget about it, so I get that. But they're going to be kicking it off. We're going to get the full trailer. We're going to have Martin there with the cast, with the showrunner. Just as an international fandom, if you're watching this, you're not even from the New York City area, the tri-state area, which will soon be mine. Doofenshmirtz. But this will be the launch of things after a pretty quiet year where there's been filming news recently, but we haven't had much active content. This is going to be a whole new spin-off. So we'll see what happens with the other things. I'm not even going to put odds on Martin saying anything about book projects at his Saturday panel, because he's done other panels like Oxford and stuff in the past year, and he didn't announce things at them. You never know. My fingers are crossed just for him to say, oh yeah, I'm making progress again, and I finished all the chapters for another character like Daenerys or for Cersei. And it could still be years before he finishes because, well, I left the hard chapters for the end. That's how he wrote for, like, The Red Wedding was the last chapter he wrote in Book 3, but just to know that he's doing better than he was when he was really melancholy a year ago, and that things are doing better now, I'd like to hear that. And I'm really excited that this is really putting out the cast, that to have them, make the international flight to this, because New York Comic-Con is always the poor country cousin to San Diego Comic-Con, even though I think San Diego Comic-Con is way too crowded now. We'll see what happens. Please like and subscribe and follow me after the jump for another Duncan Egg report on the recent filming and other casting news that we got from this in the past week.